What's up, it's Vince Leo from vinceleo.com, and in today's video, we're gonna go over 10 mistakes people make when going vegan. Now, if you're new here to the channel, I do a lot of videos around plant-based nutrition, including recipes, taste test videos, interviews, and more, so make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that notifications button so you don't miss a thing. Now, I've received a lot of messages from people telling me that they tried to go vegan, but they just couldn't keep it going and it just wasn't very sustainable for them. And you may remember my friend Rashawn said the same thing during one of our taste test videos. You were telling me that you used to be vegan for like a week.
Yeah, I'll go 6 days. I made 6 days.
6 days. Yeah. So to make sure this doesn't happen to you, let's get into the 10 mistakes people make so you can make sure they don't happen to you. Number 1, worrying about what you can't eat. Now, many people say to me after they first go vegan that they're having a hard time because they're still craving that cheese and they're still craving that bacon, they're still craving that meat. So rather than focusing all these things that you can't eat, focus on what you're actually gonna be adding to your diet. You're probably eating more fruits, you're eating more vegetables, you're eating more legumes and grains, and all these items are really healthy for you. Now, depending on what you're used to eating, you may wanna see how your body reacts to all these new foods. You may wanna start introducing some of these foods slowly so you don't overpower and shock your digestive system. Just because it's vegan, it's healthy. Now, people go vegan for a variety of different reasons, from health to the environment to animal rights. And I mentioned in earlier videos that I initially went vegan for health. And I'll admit that thinking just because something was vegan and it's healthy is something that's easy to do, especially with desserts. Now, since vegan desserts don't have any milk or butter, many people just assume that they're full of healthy options. And unfortunately, that just isn't the case, and you definitely need to read the ingredients of what you're eating, especially desserts and processed foods. Now, if you're looking for healthier options, opt for real food that doesn't have any labels, or if they do have labels, check to make sure they have the least amount of ingredients. Number 3, not drinking enough water. Now, not drinking enough water can be a mistake for anyone, whether you're vegan or not, but you definitely want to make sure you're drinking enough water after transitioning to a plant-based diet. And one of the main reasons is because after transitioning to a vegan diet, you're probably eating more fiber than you're used to. The average person eats about 27 grams of fiber per day, while the average vegan eats about 41 grams of fiber per day. Now, eating plenty of fiber is great for your overall health. Just make sure you're drinking enough water, since water helps the fiber move through your digestive tract and can prevent some unwanted and uncomfortable issues such as gas and bloating. Next is assuming everyone knows which foods are vegan. Now, you can't assume that everyone you know is gonna know which items are vegan and which aren't. And I have some friends and family that I've known for years that still forget that I don't eat eggs and honey. And it's easy to get upset about this, but you have to remember that you've educated yourself about this subject, while they just may not know as much or even be interested in learning about it. And also, you make these choices every day, so this information is basically on autopilot. You don't really have to think about it. However, if someone isn't vegan and they're trying to cook you a vegan meal, they're probably sitting on their phone Googling every single ingredient to make sure they get it right. So when they do make a mistake, be understanding and try not to be too judgmental about it. Number 5, lack of planning. And this is probably more important when you're just starting out, because once you've been vegan for a while, you probably have a certain group of foods and meals that you enjoy, and just things become a lot easier for you. But in the beginning, it can be challenging. Now, there are a bunch of new and different foods that you'll be eating, and you probably have no idea how to cook them and how to make them even taste good. So planning on what you're gonna eat for either the next few days or even the week is great to help make this process easier and less stressful. Now, you can find a lot of vegan recipes online and even here on YouTube. I'll go ahead and link some easy to make vegan recipes in the description box below so you can check them out. And you can even go to restaurants and see how they're preparing foods and see what the different flavor combinations they're using, and then go back home and try to create the same dish. So next is not eating enough whole foods. And when you're going vegan, it's easy to get off track and eat a lot of processed foods and overlook some healthier whole food options, which I understand. Now, if you're used to eating meat and chicken and you start transitioning to a plant-based diet, you may still want that familiar taste and flavor, and that's okay. Just make sure you're not forgetting to eat some whole foods in your diet. And the more whole foods that you start eating, the more your taste buds will actually change and you'll actually start craving and wanting whole foods more and less processed foods. And you'll find that over time, eventually you can replace most of these processed foods and meats with healthier vegetable options that your body is actually craving. Number 7 is you know more than anyone else. And this is one of those traps that it's easy to fall into and you may not even realize you're doing it. Especially when you're discovering all these new food options and learning all this information, and you just want to share this with everyone you know. And that's not a bad thing, but you just want to try to be respectful to the people that are around you. try to remember that there was a time where you were probably once in their shoes and eating the same food that you want to talk to them about for eating. So keep that in mind and approach them in a thoughtful way. Now, I found that people usually end up asking me questions about the food that I'm eating, which usually means that they're more receptive to what I have to say. So rather than criticizing someone for eating something that you choose not to, wait for the opportunity to educate them with compassion. Next is not letting people know that you're vegan. Now, we just mentioned one of the mistakes about not judging people for what they're eating, and this next mistake is basically on the total opposite end of the spectrum, and it's something that I've seen some people do when they first start going vegan, and that's not telling people of their decision to go vegan. And doing this can cause a lot of confusion when you're going out or you're at events and you're not eating the food that people are used to seeing you eat. Now, I found that it's best to at least communicate your decision to people, especially when you're around food, so they can understand the things that you're doing. And you may be surprised how supportive people can actually be, and you may find yourself educating people who are just curious about your decision to go vegan. Number 9, not listening to your body. And I spoke about this in an earlier video, and I think it's important to mention again here as a mistake. Now, there are a lot of great health benefits when you adopt a healthy plant-based diet, from reducing heart disease and even addressing various autoimmune conditions. However, even within the whole vegan diet circle, you'll see so many different vegan diet options, from completely raw diets to high carb and everything in between. And I think one of the big mistakes that people make is not listening to what type of plant-based foods work for them. There is no one size fits all. And that's what I tell my clients when we put together a plan of plant-based foods that work for them. So find what works well for you and do that. Next is getting your blood work done. And this is a mistake that probably applies to a lot of people, not just someone who's vegan. However, I do see a lot of people who, when they stop eating meat and dairy, they automatically think that they're eating healthier, which may not be the case, as I mentioned in some of the earlier mistakes. Now, going vegan can be a healthy diet and help reduce your chances with certain conditions, but it can't prevent them. So you want to make sure you're getting your blood work done and checking all your important numbers, such as your iron, your vitamins, your calcium, sugar, cholesterol, and everything else. These are important to check and monitor and make whatever changes are necessary. So let me know in the comments what you think of this list and if there's anything you think I may have missed. And please remember that this list is just a guide. There is no right or wrong way to do anything. These are just my recommendations based on what I've seen and what I've experienced. And if you do find yourself making a mistake, just be aware of this and address it the best way you can. So thanks for watching, and if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel as I post new videos every week, and join the Fit From Food notification squad by clicking on that bell next to the subscribe button. And remember to keep living Fit From Food. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.